Good evening. How much are you willing to give up to lose weight fast? Well, there's a controversial new 30-day diet out there that some say can fundamentally change your relationship with food and lead to a healthier lifestyle.
Okay, so for the folks who have never heard of Whole30, and there are a few of them out there, then listen.
Not a diet, not a quick fix, not even a weight loss program. It is a true reset for your health, your habits, and your relationship with food.
Welcome to the second episode of Deconstructing the Trend, your source for uncensored analysis of food industry trends. In this episode, we'll be profiling the lifestyle and diet phenomenon known as the Whole30. The first notion to be deconstructed is the idea that this is somehow not a diet, and that one of the primary points of attraction to this program is somehow not weight loss. The narrative being spun here by author Melissa Hartwig's sales pitch amounts to product differentiation blended with reverse psychology. She's going to tell you what to eat and what not to eat, but it's not a diet, and it's not a weight loss plan. Because, if it were a diet, you might confuse it for one of those other diets that you've already tried, and we don't want that.
The low-carb movement keeps coming back over and over again in different faces, and each of them swears, oh, no, I'm not like the last low-carb. No, we tweak it a little bit. But, I mean, they're very similar manifestations, and of course they sell lots of books.
It starts out with extreme restrictions, a lot of no-nos. No carbs, no beans, no dairy, no eggs. It's like the paleo diet, in that you eliminate all foods that can't be hunted or gathered, so just protein and certain fruits and vegetables.
30 days, no wiggle room, no gray area.
At the time of this production, the Whole30 Diet book, which is allegedly not a diet book at all, has been on the New York Times bestseller list for 88 weeks. I guarantee if you ask around, you know somebody who's tried this program. It's funny how mainstream media never gets the story right. I peeled that last clip from Dateline, and they claim that the Whole30 does not include eggs, which it does. Dateline also said no carbs, but that's not entirely accurate. I would characterize the Whole30 as a low-carb diet that does allow for moderate intake of so-called paleo carbs, such as sweet potatoes and winter squashes, perhaps with the occasional plantain or jicama. White potatoes are not allowed, allegedly for being calorie-dense and nutrient-poor, which is in fact a complete mischaracterization of the humble potato, which furnishes roughly only 0.8 calories per gram and is packed with vitamin C and potassium. No beans, no grains, no rice, no tortillas, no pasta. But lucky for you, zucchini noodles do not count as pasta.
There are about 100 recipes in that book. Really basic, really simple, designed to teach you how to cook. Because one thing we learned from all the focus groups we did is that before the Whole30, a lot of people didn't cook. And so we wanted to teach you how to do the basics, how to grill a chicken breast, or how to cook the perfect steak, or the perfect burger, or poach eggs.
What's important to note here is that they ran multiple market research focus groups, from which they drew the actionable resulting conclusion that they needed to teach people how to cook burgers and chicken breast. The majority of your meals on Whole30 are going to be centered around a piece of meat with some non-starchy vegetables on the side. Just so you're not going into this blindly, you should probably know about the EPIC PANACEA Study. Comprised of hundreds of thousands of men and women who were followed for years, it's the largest study ever to investigate eating meat and body weight. It found that meat consumption was associated with significant weight gain even after adjusting for calories. This means that if you had two people eating the same number of calories, it appears that the person eating more meat would, on average, gain significantly more weight. So with all this meat you're going to be eating, which by the way they always emphasize is only a moderate amount of meat, we have to talk about the elephant in your colon. Constipation. So I ran a Google search for the search term Whole30 constipation, and there were so many results I decided to narrow the search to only include forum posts on the Whole30 website about constipation. As you can see, there are abundant individual posts by different authors with the recurring theme of constipation. Did you note the irony of the quote related searches that Google comes back at you with? Whole30 constipation day 13, Whole30 constipated then diarrhea, Whole30 digestive enzymes, and my favorite Google related search, eating healthy but constipated. This is a good indication that you're not eating healthy. Animal products such as meat and eggs contain no fiber. Plants are the only source of dietary fiber. You might think you're eating a lot of plants, but the majority of your calories are coming from animal products and refined fats like olive oil.
But the black and white rule of the Whole30, no added sugar, if there's any form of sugar in the ingredient list, it's out, actually makes the decision-making process easier. Or no added sugar is, oh, look at the label, sugar, boom, I put it back. It takes executive function out of the equation, which frees up your brain a little bit more to exert some willpower.
The black and white rule of Whole30 is no added sugar. If you listen carefully to what she says, she's talking about removing executive function from your food choices. It's an established fact that glucose, a form of simple sugar, is the primary fuel source for your brain. This research found that circulating blood glucose levels modulate your brain's desire for high-calorie foods. So by removing sugar, the Whole30 program could be removing your body's ability to modulate neural stimulatory and inhibitory control over motivation for high-calorie foods, which is naturally provided by adequate blood glucose levels. In other words, you cut out the carbs, and your brain goes for the higher-calorie foods like animal products and oils. Next, let's focus on a big theme in the Whole30, willpower. In between stimulus and response, there is an opportunity for thinking. By jumping on a fad low-carb diet, I would argue that you are outsourcing the process of thinking about your own health and dietary choices to a guru like Melissa Hartwig. She claims that by removing executive function, that will free up your mind to exert willpower. But this research suggests that self-control relies on glucose as a limited energy source, therefore willpower is more than a metaphor. Meaning, self-control requires a certain amount of glucose to be circulating in your blood. But of course, the Whole30 diet is a low-carb diet.